So just we start. What is XML DTD? So basically DTD is the document type definition. If you have any problem related to the slides or voice, you can interrupt me anytime. So basically DTD is the document type definition. When we create an XML document, in that time we create elements, XML elements, that is markups, and the rule for XML document is every element having starting tag and ending tag, and it's a case sensitive. But the structure of every record, if you want to maintain same, so in that case somehow to some other property we have to validate it, right? So there should be some other way available. There should be some other way available to validate that XML document. Okay. So for that, DTD is introduced in an XML. So we have to write a definition, a type definition for the given XML document. That is nothing but the DTD, XML DTD. So it's a document type definition is a set of rules defined for XML document. DTD enables to define the components of an XML document and can also be used attributes. Uh, what DTD do basically? DTD do the define all element and attribute of an XML document, and then define the order in which the element and attributes can occur into the XML document. So the sequence of XML elements basically is defined in DTD. Define all entities that can be used. Define all entities that can be used in an XML document. So each and every entity which is available inside the XML document that should be covered into the DTD. So DTD will validate your XML document. Then define the documents. So that is root element of the docs. The starting element of your XML. It is nothing but your it's take a time. So document type definition allows us to validate the content of an XML document. DTD is usually a file with an extension of a DTD, although this extension is an optional. Sorry for the interrupt. So DTD allows us to validate the content of an XML document. DTD is usually a file with an extension of an DTD, although this extension is an optional. That means within your file. So if you want to add it, then it is optional. Uh, look in XML document how the DTD is referred. So there are doc type, the name of the file and the DTD. The extension is DTD, and other XML tags are available. So rules related to the XML document is available in a DTD for the test.xml, and this is for the validation purpose. So who will validate your DTD against the XML document? Is XML validators are available. There you have to pass your DTD file, an XML file, and then your XML validator will check whether your XML file is according to that DTD or not. Okay, so I will tell you where the XML validators are available. There are so many online validators are available. We have to only design DTD and XML document. Okay. Now suppose, so why we go with the DTD? Suppose XML document is available. So within this diagram, XML document is available, and you have a program A, B, and C. And who will validate this, right? Validate the content of an XML document and then use the XML document. So program A will validate your XML document, and then it will use. Program B will again validate your XML document, and then it will use. Program C also do the same thing. So in this example, your DTD is not present. So it is absence of an DTD. So in that case, program A again have to validate, B also again have to validate, C also again have to validate. So what is a better approach to do this? When you write an XML, so in that case, you have to write again DTD for the XML document. Then program A will use the same DTD, program B also use the same, program C also use the same. So repetition of the validation of your XML document is reduced, right? So that task will not repeat for the each and every program. So next is with the DTD. So that is the difference between the presence of DTD and absence of DTD. So XML document now having a DTD, it will validate, then your XML document is validated XML document, then program A can use, B can use, and C can use. So in that case, A, B, C, no need to validate your XML document again because it is already validated, right? So use this XML document, no need to validate. Okay, so this is basically use of not types of DTDs are. So again, you have an internal DTD, external DTD, and then you have the external DTD having dependent DTD and public DTD. So system dependent DTD means the DTD is available on the same machine. And the public DTD, the DTD is available on the different machine with on which you can access using the URL. So look, in a web technology, most of the technologies are referring the external files. It is having the again internal, external types. So your JavaScript having the same internal JavaScript, external JavaScript. Your style sheets, cascading style sheets, CSS files having internal and external files, right? PHP files, you are using external header files, right? So this concept is common almost for the all programming. So where we are referring the external resources. Okay. So external resources can be reused anywhere. Internal resources you cannot use anywhere. So that is a drawback. Internal the access of internal resources is faster than the external resource. If you need a very small code piece of code to access, so that in that case you always go with the internal. And if the lengthy code is available, number of lines are so in that case you create a separate file, and if that code is you want to reuse in future, then you definitely have to go with external. Now in this case, again, internal external DTDs are available. DTD can be stored XML document in a separate file. So you can create a separate file of DTD, create a separate file of XML. It is possible. If the DTD is going to be located inside the XML file, it must have the top of the file. And in a prototype declaration, in your prologue section, you have to mention your DTDs, internal DTD. If the DTD is located outside the XML file, the path must be included into the external, into the file that is using external. So look here, this is the first one, internal DTD inside the XML document. Now for the XML basics, there is one good book available, which is written by Indian author. Uh, he's a Maharashtrian basically. So Atul Kahate is the author name. This book is available. It is a separate book on an XML. Only XML is covered into that, and very good book. So the whatever the snaps are available in this slide. So the snaps are from the that book, Atul Kahate. So XML basics from the Atul Kahate. Okay. So you refer, so many books are available. Now, look at DTD inside the document. So how to write it? So first is a version of XML. So it is a internal. So we are writing. We are type and dot type my book, square bracket, and then so my book is basically your right, that is your element. Instead that you have an element book name and book name having the data, that is a piece. So that is having a hash piece. Still the definition you have to write like this, and then the below section is definition. So do like this. External it is separated file in the second line of code doc and system double quote book my book.dt. Book.dtd basically my book. There the document type definition is available. The file name is my book. It is available on the same machine, same folder. It is available on the same system, and this is external DTD, and that's why it is included in doc type my book system. And then the external XML file is available. Okay, and look at external DTD is written in another file. Okay, so when you write external DTD, there no need to write the document name, that is your root element name inside the external DTD. Why? Because you are uh, externally referring, and that reference link, that syntax is available in XML file. That's why no need to do it. So look at doc type my book. The my book is your exactly root element and document main element. So there already it is available, and that's why your external DTD starts with the your child. Okay, so that is the difference in internal and external. External DTD allows us to define DTD once and then refer to it from any number of XML documents. Thus, they are reusable. External DTDs reduce the size of XML document, and XML document can be declared as a standalone if it does not depend on an external DTD. So there is an attribute available in your first line XML version is equal to 1.0. There we have a standalone yes or no. If the document DTD is available externally, then standalone is no. And if the DTD is available inside the file, then standalone is yes. You can go like this. So internal versus external. Internal DTD type declaration. Actually, there is no just a right. So it is a name of DTD file is available on your machine into your folder, and your external public DTD that is accessed by the URL. Look at doc type my book public and then www.test.com/dtd/mybook.dtd. So your DTD is available on the URL test.com. Okay, so that is your public DTD. So in this way also you can access. External DTD example book, example document, and external DTD declaration. Here, look, it's a system related DTD, and the separate DTD file is available, book name and book name having hash PC data. So it is a correct example. So two separate files are available, book.xml and book.dtd. Both files are available in the same folder, and DTD is available as well as your XML file is also available, and it is linked with your doc type my book system book.dtd. It is external. It is a correct example without syntax errors. So in the previous slides, it's just a demo. Just important things are highlighted, but it is a correct example. What is the use of DTD and what is exactly well formed and valid XML document? Okay. Now, when you write only XML document without a DTD, then it is known as well form XML document if it is a syntax free, syntax error free. So syntax error free document, you can say it is a well form XML document. And if you want to check the sequence of elements and the flow of elements, and you want to apply some rules, set of rules on the XML file, then we have to obviously go with a DTD, and according to the DTD you have to cross check your XML document. And if your XML document passes according to that rule, then and then only you can say your XML document is valid XML document as well as well formed XML document. So always remember, when the XML document is syntactically correct and follows the rules of specified DTD, then it is known as well formed as well as valid. So when it is valid, if the DTD is applicable to the XML, and XML passes the set of rules which is given in a DTD. So your XML document must be according to the DTD. In that case, your XML document is valid. Otherwise, your XML document is only well formed. It is not a valid. Okay. So look, what are the cases? Different probabilities. You can say true, false. If the syntax well orderness, so if it is okay, and the DTD validity is not okay, then your document is well formed but not valid. If your syntax is okay and validity of the DTD is also okay, in that case it is well formed as well as valid. If your syntax is not okay and your DTD is okay, then it is not well formed but it is valid. And if your syntax is not okay and if the DTD is also not okay, then your document is not well formed as and nor it is a not a valid XML document. So these are the just a simple truth table of the when DTD is when your XML document is well formed or valid. So most of the time this question is asked, what is valid XML document and what is meaning of well formed XML document. So always remember, valid XML document means if your XML document is validated as per the DTD, then only it is a valid XML document, and it is syntax free, then it is a well formed. So well formed and valid in that case is applicable if it is a syntax error free as well as it is validated against a DTD. Okay. So this is an example given. It's XML version 1.0 XML document for book.xml, and DTD is available. It's a book.dtd. Look at in the left hand side is a case one is a well formed. Yes, because it is syntax is correct for the XML, correct. And valid no. Valid status is no. Why? DTD has an author element, but the XML document has a book name. So in a DTD, in a book.dtd file, the first line element my book is having the child as author, but that author child is not included into the XML document, right? That means your DTD is not as per the XML document. There is a problem, so it is not a valid. Now look the second right hand side, case B. It is a well formed. Yes, its syntax is correct. And valid. Yes, DTD rules are followed by the XML document. Why? Because my book having book as a child and book having the PC data, that means having the data. So it is a valid as well as well formed XML document. Is it okay? If you have a doubt, you can ask me. Look the second example. Tell me in a case C is given. It is a well formed. No. Why it is no? Syntax error is syntax is not correct. What is the problem of a syntax? The book name opening tag is in closed with an author. Where? Look at line number 4 and 5. In between line number 4 and 5. Check it. Book name is XML and book name is not ended. It is a author ended. Its syntax is not correct. So it is not a well formed XML document. Correct. And validity about this is correct. because book contains an author, author contains the PC data. So maybe it is a validity is correct. So but important thing is if your XML document is not well formed, in that case DTD, if it is valid, then also it is not applicable. So both things are important. Now the case D. In a case D, it is well formed. Syntax is not correct. No, it is syntax is wrong. Why? Book name XML is written, but there is no ending tag available for book name. Line number 4 and 5, in between 4 and 5. Check it. My book name is XML is available, but there is no ending tag for the book name. So it is syntax error. So it is not well formed. And having a DTD problem, my book name, uh, and book name contains a PC data. So this is also not a correct, because book name is not having ending tag, and that's why it is not having an PC data. You cannot write it. So that is also not valid. So DTD specifies the root element of a book list into your file. So there is no book list. Just wait. DTD specifies the root element as a book list, which is not there in an XML document. Okay. So no, this is not the case. There is some problem in that image. So here is the problem, that there is no ending data, so you cannot write the DTD for that no ending element, right? And that's why your validity, your DTD also wrong. So here D case is no. So case ABCD is given as per your truth table. You can just refer it and you can cross check which is valid and well form XML document. Okay. So a valid document include the reference to the DTD, which it should be compared, and this is given in a document single document type declaration. So in this way you can do it. So the document type declaration is included in the prologue section of XML. So that already I told you, that is external DTD. So doc type person system is system uh, dependent. So prologue is everything in a XML document before the root element. So here it should be the public, it should not be the system. It is again a typing mistake, because your DTD is available on the external file. So it should be the public. Then it is a system dependent. So elements, that exclamatory mark elements. So we have started with the document. Look at first, it is a document person system. So that is a exclamatory mark document type declaration. This is element type declaration. So element means which is markups in XML, which is available in your uh, from the root element inside the child elements, etc. Then you have a PC data. So PC data is used to represent the data inside the markup. It is exactly the content. Okay. Next you have a child elements. So child element, you can go with the uh, like a look exclamatory mark element. Fax is the element name. Inside a fax, another name is a phone number. So phone number basically is a child of fax, right? So that you can include into the rounded brackets, and then you can use a plus if the phone numbers are multiple values are available for phone numbers. Okay. Then the sequence is like you have to go with the sequence of the elements is as per the what you mention in a DTD. So the most of the element contain either the past character data or multiple child elements. Hello. The simplest way to indicate multiple child element is to separate them with the commas. And suppose for example, in a book, list is a root element, and book is your first child, and book having the author name and the price. So author name and price is basically children of your book, correct? And book is a children of your book list. Then in that case, the multiple elements you have to pass into the element type declaration is like this: exclamatory mark element. Then you have a book list. Inside that, book is available. Book multiple entries are available. Then you can go with a plus. Then again, element book contains in a parenthesis first is author name and comma price. And then next line element author name is equal to author name into bracket PC data hash PC data, and then exclamatory mark element price is equal to hash PC data. So in this way you can go it. So there you have to go with a comma if the multiple childs are available, multiple child elements are available. This is called as a sequence. It indicates that named elements must be appear in the separate order. Okay, so in this way, look at example is available for sequence. So any problem? There is noise. Mr. D, who is DG? Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Look at here, exclamatory mark element inside the name. The first name comma last name are available. So XML document is available below that. Name having first name Mandona, and the first name ends. Last name contains Ikano, and the last name ends, and the name ends. Again, name entry is repeated for the different values. Okay, so that sequence, the name contains a multiple child first name and last name, right? So element having name, first name and last name, and then first name having the PC data, last name having the PC data. Okay, so in this it is known as sequence. So number of children, if you want to fix it, then you go with a question mark is 0 or 1 of the element is allowed. Multiplication 0 or more of the element is allowed, and plus is 1 or more element is allowed. So look in this example, element name, first name comma middle name question mark, last name question mark. So question mark means there is a possibility of 0 or 1 element is allowed. So either 0 means it is optional, correct? It is optional. Name, first name is available, last name is available. In second name, first name is available, middle name is available, right? And last name is available. So in first entry, middle name is not available. And in third entry, only first name is available, last name and middle name is not available. And for that, DTD is available in this way: exclamatory mark name, first name comma middle name question mark, last name question mark. Okay, and now look at another DTD element name is equal to first name comma middle name star and last name question mark. Star means 1 or more, right? So sorry, 0 or more, and plus means 1 or more. So middle name is again it's a 0 or multiple. Last name is optional. Middle name now plus means it's at least 1 or more, and last name may be optional. Okay. Now the choices are available in elements. Either, for example, if the beverage having a tea or coffee, right? So or that is bitwise operator is used here. So that is choice. So that also you can give it. So digit contains 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or so, like digit having element, and the value for that is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So bitwise operator you can use it. It's using a choice. Mixed contents are also available. That is nothing but your hash PC data. So hash PC data means it contains anything. Okay, so that is a data. So your paragraph contain a data, or either it is a name or profession or footnote or emphasizes or date, and it occurrences may be 1 or more. It's a multiple. It's a asterisk symbol. Okay, last example, check it. Now attribute declaration. If there is any attribute available in XML document for any element, then you can go with the exclamatory mark att list image source C data, and that C data should be required. Requirements, it is a compulsory. So image source must be available there. That is hash required. Okay. And now next is Look at here, image source is has PCC data required, width required, height required, alter C data is implied. So, so that many things is compulsory. This declaration has the same effect of meaning of four separate attribute declaration, each of for one of each attribute. Whether to use attribute-less declaration as per the matter personal preferences, but most experienced DTD designer prefer the multiple attribute forms for this. And for that, C data attribute value contain any string of the text acceptable well form XML attribute, that is nothing but a C data. Then XML name token is very close to the XML name. So it must consist the same characters as an XML name, that is alphanumeric characters or punctuation marks. So that is NM token. Like XML name and XML name token may not contain the white spaces definitely because it is variable name. So look the example. Mm, enab token type attribute contains one or more XML names token separated by the white space. And you can go like this. Performances date. Performances space date is available, right? So performances is your element and date is your attribute, and date is given like this: 8/21 2001 space 8/23 2001 space 8/27 2001. 2000. So three dates are available, right? So it is with the space. So nm token, so it is nothing but a nm token. You can mention in this way. So there the multiple values is possible for your attribute. Okay. So it is advanced features for the DTD. So if anyone is interested to do the career in XML, then you have to refer this. And then again the month is January or etc. So date and month, for the month again value, what is value, what is uh, it is required or not, it is compulsory or optional. So that enumeration is passed. So enum you are replacing, it is a constant, it is similar like a constant, right? So it's a constant array, you can see. So the enum is also supported in an XML. Then ID type attribute must contain XML name that is unique with the XML document. No other ID element attribute in the document can have the same value, that you have to mention with ID. So in an attribute list, employee social security number is nothing but ID, and that is a compulsory. Hash required means it is a compulsory. So is declared as ID means security number must be unique for the each entry of your employee social security. So look, what is the meaning of hash required, implied, and fixed? Implied means the attribute is optional. In that case, the value it is not compulsory to provide for that attribute. Required, you have to compulsory provide the value, and fixed means the value is fixed. It is a constant. Okay. So three hash variables are used in the attribute list. Okay. Entity declaration. So now entity declaration is like this: copyright. So how to define it? So it is an entity copyright, and the value for that copyright is copyright info is provided by the Creative Com Commons license. So that value is provided, and that copyright you can use into your XML document. So it is nothing but your entity declaration. And conditional declarations, so you can ignore it. The XML offers ignore directive for the purpose of commenting out section. For example, the parsing will ignore your that things. Okay. And this may not seem particularly useful